Iconic fashion moments. The yellow jumpsuit. We're back at it again with another episode of Iconic Fashion Moments, the series on this channel where we take a look at a specific moment in fashion and its subsequent impact and influence on pop culture. In today's episode, we'll be talking about this yellow jumpsuit. You probably recognize it from Kill Bill, but did you know that it actually popped up decades earlier on the back of one of the most legendary martial artists of all time? Let's get into it. Now widely credited for popularizing martial arts in America and for opening doors for many Asians in Hollywood, Chinese-American actor Bruce Lee was the first person to wear this iconic yellow jumpsuit and is typically the point of reference when it makes appearances in other films. Appearing in multiple films in Hong Kong as a child actor, Bruce Lee also studied dancing and kung fu. In his mid-20s, he moved to Los Angeles where he appeared in the short-lived television series The Green Hornet in 1996. Where he played the title character's acrobatic sidekick. Apart from his work on the show, Lee also appeared in karate tournaments around the United States and taught martial arts to private clients, including one of the most popular actors of the time, Steve McQueen. At one point around this time period, Bruce Lee pitched a show concept to Warner Brothers that was intended to be a modern western, something that would place Lee in the title role and have the story and action be Asian-focused. Unfortunately, the show wound up not coming to fruition, with Warner Brothers instead retooling the concept with no credit to Bruce Lee. Their show, Kung Fu, was released in 1972 and had non-martial artist David Carradine as the lead, performing the role of a Shaolin monk in Yellowface. Warner Brothers has officially stated that they had been developing the concept for some time and that Lee's pitch had no influence on the project. However, producer Fred Weintraub, who had worked with Bruce Lee, said, quote, "The powers that be had 100 different reasons why Bruce was wrong for the part. He was an unknown, he was short, his English wasn't good enough, he lacked the necessary serenity to play the role. But at the end of the day, there was really only one reason. In the history of Hollywood, there had never been an Asian hero." When asked about the situation in interviews, Bruce Lee stated, quote, "They think that business-wise, it is a risk. I don't blame them. If the situation were reversed and an American star were to come to Hong Kong and I was the man with the money, I would have my own concerns as to whether the acceptance would be there." This career disappointment would prompt Lee to move back to Hong Kong, where he would go on to successfully establish himself as a star with films like The Big Boss in 1971 and Fist of Fury in 1972. The success of these films across Asia provided him the opportunity to write, direct, and star in The Way of the Dragon later that year, a martial arts film that would feature Chuck Norris in his debut film role. Their fight scene, which pitted Lee's kung fu against Chuck Norris's karate, is remembered as one of the most iconic moments in martial arts history. The success of these films in both American and Asian markets resulted in martial arts becoming a global phenomenon, best epitomized by disco song Kung Fu Fighting becoming one of the best-selling singles of the era. And the rise of martial arts resulted in Bruce Lee becoming a household name and a pop culture icon. Unfortunately, these successes came to a screeching halt when on July 20th, 1973, Bruce Lee passed away unexpectedly at the age of 32. His final completed film, Enter the Dragon, was released days after his passing and was one of the highest-grossing films of the year. Although Enter the Dragon was Lee's final film that was released, he had been working on several other projects prior to his passing, including Game of Death, which would eventually be released in 1978, with that version of the movie using stand-ins for Lee and interspersing footage from his past projects in an attempt to piece the story together. This revised version of the film was commercially successful and proved to have significant cultural impact, with Bruce Lee's yellow and black jumpsuit becoming one of his most memorable looks. Because the film was never completed as intended, there has been much speculation about the meaning of the jumpsuit, as its bright color doesn't seem to fit the plot of the story as his character is meant to be incognito. Some critics have voiced that they believe it represented his Asian heritage, with the colors resembling that of a tiger, but according to Andre Morgan, associate producer on the project, there was a much simpler explanation. The actor was originally shown a black jumpsuit with yellow stripes, and the now iconic yellow jumpsuit that had black stripes. Lee initially chose the black jumpsuit as he believed it would make him look slimmer, but he eventually changed his mind when he realized that footprints would be better visible on the yellow suit. This outfit has been directly referenced in several other action films, often as intentional parody, including The Last Dragon in 1985, First Strike in 1994, High Risk in 1995, and Shaolin Soccer in 2001. And there have of course been more inspired homages to the outfit, including Sandy Cheeks from SpongeBob. A live-action adaptation of the novel of the same name, the gory film follows a group of junior high students that are forced to fight to the death. Despite being subject to controversy, even being outright banned in several countries, the movie, directed by Kinji Fukasaku, has grown a large cult following in the years since its release, with director Quentin Tarantino even citing it as one of his favorite movies.
First movie is my favorite movie of the last 17 years, and that is the Japanese film Kinji Fukasaku's Battle Royale. If there was any movie that has been made since I've been making movies that I wish I had made, it's that one.
Remember that, it'll be important later. The film made such an impact on audiences that the term Battle Royale has since been used to refer to the fictional genre where a group of people are instructed to kill each other off in a free-for-all until there is a sole triumphant survivor. Think The Hunger Games, The Hunt, or Squid Game. In Battle Royale, the character of Takasa Chigusa wears a yellow tracksuit that she had brought along. While there has been no official confirmation as to whether or not the tracksuit is an ode to Bruce Lee, its importance is undeniable as it's one of the few things in Battle Royale that is bright in color. A member of the track and field team, Chigusa's character is depicted as standoffish and vain, treating everyone aside from her love interest with disdain. When her character is attacked by another student, she fights back, effectively becoming one of the few women in Battle Royale to actually kill someone. Betrayed and shot in the back, she's finally able to confess her love before dying, her yellow tracksuit covered in blood. If you're wondering why we decided to mention this film and this version of the jumpsuit even though it isn't an obvious ode to Bruce Lee, it's because it does have a major influence on the next film the jumpsuit was featured in, which just so happens to be its most recognizable appearance. Directed by Quentin Tarantino, the two Kill Bill movies follow the exploits of assassin Beatrix Kiddo, aka the Bride, aka Black Mamba, as she seeks revenge on the group of people who betrayed her years earlier. The character's style throughout the film is rustic and bohemian with hints of classic Americana. Flipping between traditionally feminine and masculine elements, she regularly wears tiered maxi skirts, leather jackets, graphic tees, and strappy sandals. The conflicting aspects of her wardrobe directly correlates to the character's emotional and mental state, with the feminine elements of her look representing her desire to lead a quiet life as a mother, versus the masculine elements which represent the deadly life she's grown accustomed to and finds herself unable to escape from. The wardrobe for the character as a whole marks a shift in how female action stars were dressed. No longer hypersexualized in crop tops and skin-tight pants, but instead in functional pieces that exuded confidence and strength. The film itself is classic Tarantino in how it calls back to other work that he's been inspired by, referencing everything from spaghetti westerns to Japanese judaigeki to blaxploitation films, with specific influences on Kill Bill's visuals and story, including 1974's Foxy Brown, 1973's Lady Snowblood, 1966's Navajo Joe, and, as previously mentioned, 2000's Battle Royale. A full-blown film fanboy, Tarantino's choice to have the bride wear a yellow jumpsuit when he's admitted his love for Bruce Lee is no coincidence. Although she appears in a variety of outfits throughout the two films, there's no denying that Beatrix's most memorable ensemble is her yellow jumpsuit, which was used prominently in marketing materials for the film. Donning the jumpsuit in the latter half of the first film, Beatrix maims and kills over 100 people, including Gogo Yubari, a young schoolgirl with a murderous streak, purposely played by actress Chiaki Kuriyama, who previously donned a yellow tracksuit in Battle Royale. Initially appearing while riding a matching motorbike and racing jacket, Beatrix's look becomes more casual when she finally confronts her target, featuring a simple two-piece set that is near identical to Bruce Lee's. Bright and bold, the outfit looks distinctly American, almost calling back to the juicy couture craze of the era, which creates a stark juxtaposition to the wardrobe of her enemies, who wear ensembles typically associated with Japan. This plays into how O-Ren initially belittles her sword-fighting ability, brushing her off as a silly Caucasian girl, only for her to realize that Beatrix is even more capable than she is, something that calls back to how Bruce Lee was often the underdog in his films. Although Bruce wore Adidas in Game of Death, with his double wearing Moonstar Jaguars, Beatrix is wearing a pair of yellow and black Onitsuka Tiger sneakers, which I find interesting as it's a Japanese shoe brand, perhaps symbolic of Beatrix's respect for the country. Much like how Bruce Lee chose the yellow suit in order for a footprint to be visible, the jumpsuit in Kill Bill similarly assists the story visually, with the yellow slowly turning red from the amount of bloodshed occurring. Although the ensemble has since become iconic, actress Uma Thurman wasn't pleased with the look, with director Quentin Tarantino recalling, quote, "Uma hated the yellow tracksuit. Hated it. Didn't get it. Thought she looked like a popsicle. A banana popsicle. She was just not into it." Now since then it's become this totally iconic thing, and she probably doesn't even remember it, but she was like, "You're trying to make me look like a clown." Little did she know that she had created pop culture history, with countless celebrities wearing odes to her ensemble on Halloween over the years, with some being more straightforward interpretations and others, unsurprisingly, becoming sexier. One recent iteration of the jumpsuit that I find absolutely hilarious is from the brand aalyiah, which sold a two-piece set that was worn by multiple models and influencers. Considering where the yellow jumpsuit came from, an unfinished film starring an underappreciated Asian actor, it's remarkable to see the impact it has made since, not only in the film industry, but in fashion as a whole. Which version of the yellow jumpsuit is your favorite, and what iconic fashion moment would you like us to take a look at next? I hope you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye!